Loungin, son.
Welcome back to another episode of Loungin. My name's Ryan. I got my co-host here, Mario.
What's up, guys?
And today we're here to talk about something that I really fucking hate. Speculators. We had recorded a video prior to this. Technical difficulties made us lose that, so we wanted to wait a few weeks before we recorded this again to kind of like...
Get it refreshed.
Newsflash. Speculators are still here weeks later, and they're still dumb as fuck. And still doing the same dumb shit.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I hate it on multiple reasons. One of the reasons I'll say first off is, let's say, let me give you an example. A few months ago, right before I started working at the shop that I work at, Captain Marvel issue got hot, and I happened to go in that day to pick up my books, and there was no copies on the shelf. 3 different people came in asking for that book.
Yeah.
Not because they want it, but because they want to flip it.
Yeah.
And that's when I started seeing that, oh wait, the speculator market is coming back, just like it was in the 90s. We saw what happened because of the speculator market in the 90s. The bubble got big, and then it popped. And Marvel ended up going bankrupt, filing for bankruptcy. Readership went down. I think, overall, we saw a lot of shitty books coming out because it was just, number one, let's put number one. Ooh, first appearance, this. Ooh, variant cover. While I do understand, I guess, somewhat of a necessity because it has speculation has a place in the market, I guess to an extent, because it's always kind of been there, and there are people that collect comic books simply for the financial value. They don't collect it for reading. I would say I kind of do a little bit of both, right? Most of it, I'm about 90%, I get it because I love comic books and I like to read it.
Right.
Then there is that 10% where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will pick up this first appearance because it might be cool later on down the line to own it. Because I know when I was younger, there were comic books that I could have owned and I didn't get. And I kind of want them just for the pure reason of having it. Like Hellboy. Yeah. Like I would have loved to have picked that up when I was a kid, and I didn't. I own it now. But, there's just things like that. But overall, speculators, hearing them come, and I work at a shop, hearing them fucking come in, asking for a fucking book that I know they're not going to read. And then they get mad when we don't fucking have it. Well, listen, motherfucker, maybe I don't give a shit that you don't have the fucking book in your hand because all you want to do is buy it here for cover price and list it on eBay. So you can kindly go fuck yourself.
Yeah, the weirdest thing I saw was, I think it was one of the times we were hanging out. I cooked Paradise. I was there with Nick, and some guy comes in and he's like, "Hey, do you guys have any variants for whatever book it was?" And Nick was like, "Oh yeah, we have some. Which one are you looking for?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Which ones do you have? And I think he started looking. I was like, "Well, which one are you looking for?" I think I have a few of them. And he starts looking, and he looks for them, and I have the Cho variant. I have this. Which one are you looking for? I was like, "Oh, I'll take any of them."
Yeah.
Like the guy has no idea. He doesn't even know what variants came out. He's just looking for any of them.
Right.
Because that particular issue is hot. So he's just trying to literally get all the variants for that issue, not knowing the artists, not knowing who did the variants, and probably not even knowing what, are some of them just regular variants, or some of them incentivized ones? No idea.
Yeah, I know people can,
and that's just, what the fuck?
And they have no knowledge.
Why are you doing this?
And they have no knowledge of the comic book market, and it's insane. They are these bottom feeders that just will go on sites like fucking Key Collector. I can't stand that site. I mean, they will make a first appearance of a fucking turtle on the floor and tell you that, oh, you got to get this book. It's going to be hot.
It's so weird.
No, dude. It's fake. It's manufactured hype of a book that should otherwise...
Punchline's been probably the most egregious thing in the last few years. She hadn't even come out.
No.
And I know James Tinian had sent an email out kind of
being to the people that are subscribed to his newsletter, yeah.
Yeah, it said, hey, this is a new character coming out, you guys should check it out. And for whatever reason, people ran off with it. But then nobody knew who she was. Nobody knew how much of importance she was going to play. Nobody had any context.
No.
And, historically, things become key issues or hot issues because after we get to see them, we get to see how important it was.
Mm-hmm.
And if it ends up being a low print run because no one's paying attention, that's just the way it goes. But this is weird to call it ahead of time. For a character we have no context of what she's even doing.
Yeah.
And that's not even a character in an event. It's not like, this is a new biggest villain. This is just another character. And we always joke around on the Comic Marauders, like, almost every fucking issue is a new first appearance of something. Constantly. Yeah. So, like, why does one matter to the other one?
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention to the story, why does one matter to the other one? It doesn't.
Yeah.
You're just making it up. You're just fabricating this hype for this character we know nothing about. It's so weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And you got like people like, and it also fucks with stores, like with their numbers, right? Like, oh wait, this book sold this much, right? And maybe not all stores are as hip to speculators. I would think that most are, but maybe not all of them are. And they're like, oh wait, this book, there's a demand for it, right? So I got to up my numbers. And then you're left with a fucking stack of issues that doesn't have the first appearance, because you thought that your readership went up, or people start subs because they're like, oh, we only have books for subs. So they'll start a subscription. They'll add titles. Then you're ordering titles for them, and then they never pick them up. Or, like you have like a book like Strange Academy, who, like, we were joking about it the week that it came out. Like, nobody was talking about that book. Nobody cared. And it was selling for cover price for a while. And then all of a sudden, the speculators woke up from their quarantine nap and were like, oh, wait, there's a bunch of first appearances. Boom, $30 now. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Where like, I don't even know how it started recently. I guess it is stuff like Key Collector, where they just like, and then you got people on YouTube. I don't know if these fuckers are getting paid or what the fuck is happening, but like all of a sudden, like there was a video about, this is recent, again, another DC book, which I think DC and publishers tend to feed the speculator market to up their numbers.
100%.
And it was the Robin King in this like legend, Dark Knight's Death Metal, Legends of the fucking Dark Multiverse, whatever the fuck it was, dude. Yeah. It's got too many goddamn names. Instantly, dude, like, fucking 4 days before it comes out, it's going for more than cover price, pre-sales on eBay, and then sold out on all comic book sites. You can't buy them. And I came across this fucking video, and this guy on YouTube, oh my god, dude. And I don't even know why I subjected myself to this, but I'm like, I have to see what this dumb fuck is saying.
Yeah.
He literally is hyping up the book. And he's like, don't get this book. You have to get this one because this is the true first appearance. And then he goes on, he tells a whole story, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so fucking like. And I literally, my head is like pulsating from anger.
Well, it's getting worse too, because we were talking about this on the podcast for Comic Marauders this week, where Nick was telling me that people are starting to take the previews catalog as the first appearance of books. Because after Miles Morales' Spider-Man the video game got announced, the first appearance, Ultimate Fallout, has been like just to the fucking roof. But then now people are trying to make his first appearance be the previews catalog that came out for that stuff.
I mean, that's very similar to an issue of Savage Dragon 102. Some people will say that's the first appearance of Invincible. In that book, like, you look at 101, the price, and then you look at 102, and it's like, it jumps, and then it goes back down for the next issue.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. And then you got these first cover appearances.
Yeah.
I don't fucking give a rat's ass, dude, what their first cover was. Like, that fucking Punchline, the Art Germ variant.
Yeah.
Dude, that book ain't worth shit. Why?
At least it's a variant. The one that really got me, that I knew everything was, this is like, you guys are just delusional now, was Kevin told me that people were arguing that the first appearance of Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, was a second printing variant of another book. So she's not in that book. It's just that they had a second printing variant that happened to have her in there somewhere. And that ended up spiking up sales like crazy. It's the second fucking printing.
I mean,
who the fuck cares about second printings?
You know what a major attributor to speculation is also is eBay. Because I guarantee you right now, dude, I could fucking find a book in my collection.
Yeah.
I could list it as first appearance. And then I could make multiple listings. If I really wanted to, I could have you make a listing. I could have my brother make a listing, right? Of the same comic.
Yeah,
first
and
appearance.
you artificially inflate the price.
Exactly. And like, I could dictate the price. I could fucking... If I wanted to list something for like $300, right? And then somebody else will see that and they'll list it just a little bit below, and then everybody else will list it at that lower price.
Yeah. No, I know.
And it's just crazy, dude.
It really, people do that. So I really like collect like hot toys and statues, and that's 100% the standard. That's what because those are similar in that they have a very finite amount. So like they'll say it's 600 copies of these and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And like it gets announced on Monday and on Tuesday you see eBay listings.
Yeah.
It hasn't even come out yet, but they're doing that ahead of time, which is the sale price of the statue is $500. I'm gonna put it for $700. Why? Because eventually this will sell out, and then I'm setting the gold standard for how much the resale value is, regardless of if people want it.
Yeah. Now the only I will say this about speculators. Now, maybe this is wrong of me, but like if I see something like going for a certain price, and I'm like I don't really care about this book.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe I should,
Batman, right?
maybe I should take advantage of that. Maybe I should sell it on eBay at that price. But then I'm like, well, am I kind of being a hypocrite? Like, but at the same time, like,
It's money.
it's
Money on the table.
well, I learned it mostly. It's mostly been because of quarantine. Because like there was no work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I still had to pay my bills. I had that Batman '89, and I'm like,
Punch line.
I don't need it, dude. I just sold my Tom King run, so I just literally my Batman run starts at 86. I'm like, I don't need this shit, and I just sold the issues I had, and so I benefited off speculation. But I mean, and again, like speculation doesn't always help.
But it's also different what you did there because you bought that naturally because it was already on your pull list and you just happened to have it.
Yeah.
You didn't go out to 4 stores and badger the shit out of the workers.
I didn't take my daughter with me, send her in like, hey, do you guys got a copy?
Yeah, but you didn't go to Collector's Paradise and then go to the Arts of Comics and then go over here and go over there to try to hunt that as many as you could so you can get like 5 or 6 in one day.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do that.
Yeah.
You just had one. You happened to have it already because you were getting that book. And you had been getting that book.
Mm.
So you know what I mean? It's very, very different than what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And that kind of speculation, that would be fine. I think if everybody just did that, where I happen to already get this book because this is on my pull list, then it wouldn't be that much of a problem. Except there's a bunch of these fucking assholes that run around trying to get 10 copies because it's the new hot book, and it's getting really.
You know what I love? I love when people speculate and they come into the shop and they buy a book that I'm like, dude, that book's not gonna be worth shit in like 3 days. You know, and I'm just like, and they're like, they buy like 2 or 3 copies.
Yeah.
Dude, you're dumb as fuck. Like it was like there's like a Miles Morales issue. First appearance of his baby sister.
Oh god,
that book went for fucking $15 the week it came out. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
it's a baby. Who cares?
I don't understand, dude. First appearance of Miles' new haircut. Like, I'm waiting for that one. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much. I mean, nowadays that's the other thing too is that we didn't used to have like a perfect example of this is Venom, Amazing Spider-Man 300. Technically, $2.99. He's at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, we didn't bother with that because he didn't really appear until 300.
I mean, isn't that the same with like Hulk 180?
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like we didn't really bother with that shit back in the day. We didn't even need to have a cameo appearance, actual appearance, cover appearance. No. The fucking book that he's in is Amazing Spider-Man 300. Done.
And I think CGC is a huge proprietor for helping push that along as well with their stupid fucking labels. And I mean, like me, I don't even. I don't think I want to own CGC books. I guess maybe if you're trying to preserve the comic, but like I still would like to be able to flip through a comic. I don't want to feel like I'm putting the comic book in prison, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of like you're sealing it off and like
yeah.
So like I don't know. I think CGC is also another huge reason of the speculator market getting bigger because. Now a book is just because CGC says it's this great and it says it's this. Now this fucking $200 book is now $1,000, and that shit is just there's a manufactured pricing.
There's a lot of subsections of this too, where you have because I'm in like a bunch of Facebook groups. I try to stay in a bunch of them just to see what people from different like versions of this are into, and someone put up a poll where it was like. You know, what do you primarily buy books for? Cover or story? And it was like 40% cover, 60% story.
That's crazy.
And so you end up with a situation where these guys, and they're not speculating, they're not flipping books, but they just buy covers because of the cover. They don't give a shit of the book. They don't give a shit about the interior art. And that also means that they have a collection where they have 3 issues of Amazing Spider-Man because they like the covers, and then 2 issues of Captain Marvel just because I like the cover. And that's like a completely different breed of collector is just odd.
It's odd.
I mean,
but I don't hate that. You know what I mean? Because like I kind of like part of me almost got into that, especially when I started getting the discount. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get multiple covers because I do like these covers.
Yeah.
But like the reality is, I only have so much wall space. It's just gonna go in a box. So how often am I gonna look at that art? Like, so I'm not.
Yeah, but the reason I just bring it up in that it does feed itself is that the hype. Why do you want the cover? Sometimes it's also hype.
Mm-hmm.
Like a perfect example, that one is Detective Comics, the one with the Joker face with the bats in Black Mirror.
Right.
That was a book that was worthless. Not because it's a fucking great book. It should be valuable because it's fucking awesome, not because it's a dumb cover. But that cover, even though you have speculators that are trying to buy it now to flip it, but now you also have people, why is it also getting value? Because a lot of the guys that collect covers are now buying it just not because it had been sitting there for $3 5 years ago. Now you want it because it's $8. Come on,
Yeah,
like
it's
fake. So even the cover guys are getting artificially involved in this whole situation, and then you get guys that only buy CGC books, that only buy keys. Which I'm starting to really fucking hate the term key in general. Just fuck your key, throw it in the fucking trash, put it in your door, bend the shit out of that dumb key, and throw it in the trash. Fuck you. I hate that word now, because I just don't know why people care. Like why collect keys only?
See, for me, what I don't call them keys. I call them grails, and for me, I say like personal grails. Like, oh, this is a personal grail for me, like, because it means it's like a book that I really just want to own to have. Like Flash 123, which was the first Flash of Two Worlds, where Jay Garrick and Barry Allen first met. It was the first appearance of the multiverse, right? So there's like certain books, like,
no, but then you buy Flash books. I'm talking about the guys that only collect keys.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's weird. So like
but it's an investment.
Amazing Spider-Man 300 to me is like, if that's like literally my house is on fire and I can only take like 3 things. One of those things is Amazing Spider-Man 300. That's signed by Todd McFarlane, and that was like my white whale. One day I want to own this, so I love that book. And I get that, but when you only have it because it's the key issue and that's all you collect, why? That's so fucking weird to me.
Yeah, I mean. But and that's just because they're using it as an investment.
Some of them just like saying they have it. Like there's also you also gotta understand there's some people out there that are fucking baller that maybe they're just in a shit ton of debt, but they just that's because one of my friends Stu, he like has this insane collection of hardcovers, and he's in this collector groups that specifically collect omnis and hardcovers, and tons of those guys have this insane like backdrop where it's just this entire room full of books. And tons of them are still sealed. They don't even bother opening them because they're never going to read them. Because it's not about reading them, and it's not even about flipping them. It's just specifically just owning them.
That's weird.
That's it.
That's weird.
And you have the key. So a lot of the key guys aren't even flipping. It's not even an investment. They literally just want to have this crazy fireproof drawer where they pull it out and they just have keys sitting there. I've seen guys like have a whole like bed and they take a picture just spread out of keys of like CGC books. I'll look at all my 9.1. There's not even a theme. Right? The theme of this picture is 9.8. This is all the 9.8 I have.
I know it's weird.
And why even why?
I mean that's that to me I don't understand it, but it's like whatever. Everybody collects the way they collect.
Yeah.
I mean this conversation has turned into pretty much I think speculators versus collectors. Right? I mean, I think that's pretty much what we're talking about.
The reason I bring all the different subsections is that they do feed into each other, though. Is that the stupid... like, Donny Cates became a thing because his stuff generally gets popular. So with, like, the creation of Cosmic Ghost Rider, nobody knew that was popular. Right? And they started seeing, like, oh, his books tend to sell really well. They tend to really work. People like him. He got a lot of hype around him. I think a lot of it was deserved because he did a good job. I think now it's starting to get a little iffy. But then so he started becoming a speculator machine. Because, if he's going to do it, it's going to get hot because people like it.
Yeah, look at his Thor run.
Yeah.
First appearance of Black Winter. First appearance of Black Winter on the cover. First
time Black Winter took a shit.
Yeah.
First
appearance of Thor's new boots.
Yeah. And
first appearance of Rune.
So then you have the speculator, key collector trash over here that's making it fucking work. But then it also impacts all the other subsections. Because the cover guys want the covers. And then the CGC fucking key guys want the key. Then you have all the flippers. And then you have people that just literally just want to buy it because like I like Donny Cates. He's a good. I like Venom. It's one of the books that I would say is really good at Marvel, regardless of all the hype. It's a good book.
Mm-hmm.
Then you know what I mean. So you have all these guys and they're all are feeding off of that thing because even if you're not flipping the covers, you do want it because it's the thing to have.
Yeah.
So
it's just weird.
now you're gonna have a lot of those guys even though they're not flipping it. So because you got to think about it, the guys are flipping. Who's buying them though? It's not just all the flippers. Somebody's buying them, and that's who's buying them. It's all the different subsections that are buying them.
Yeah.
So it's all feeding itself. It's all going around in circles.
It's all a disgusting circle.
And meanwhile, there's a whole entire other majority. I would say the vast majority of people that just don't give a flying fuck. That don't know. Read Venom and probably don't even know the name is Donny Cates. Because there are people that buy books
that is weird.
that literally don't know who writes them. They just don't care. It's just I like Venom.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think like, I talked to another creator and he said, like speculation and speculators in some ways are kind of like kind of just a part of the ecosystem of the comic book market and the comic book industry, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But I hate when it starts getting out of hand, which is what's happening now, and you're gonna like this can be another bubble. This can be a repeat of the 90s, and we could see the same thing happen. And like, especially with like the state of the economy and the state of the world, that could ruin comics. That could like maybe be something that like they don't recover from as easily. And I can't stand talking to them. I can't stand hearing their voices, dude. Like it's so fucking annoying getting those phone calls. Do you have this? And you answer, and they hang up on you. They don't even like give you the time of day. Like, so you know that the only reason. And dude, I will not call out names, but there are a lot of subscribers at the shop where I know exactly what the fuck they're doing. Like, I know you subbed to that book because you're fucking speculating. And like part of me judges them, but I'm like, they're cool, you know what I mean? But like, I know exactly what you're doing, bro. Like this is turned from
you didn't suddenly go from I don't really care about Spider-Man or Venom at all, to all of a sudden I get every Venom issue.
You weren't reading Batman, but all of a sudden you're like, oh no, Batman's really good. Now I know you're full of shit because it fucking sucks.
It's the other way around. It went from being pretty good to being hot trash.
Yeah, so I don't know. I had a lot more hate on the first video. I've kind of calmed down a little bit about it because I'm kind of getting like outside stuff where it's like it makes sense to me, like how it could be essential to technically some books kind of staying hitting their numbers, or publishers kind of staying afloat, especially when they're feeding the speculator market by like, oh, this is the first appearance, oh, this is that, like, so I don't know. 80% I hate them. 80% I can't stand what the speculation market does to comics. I can't stand the people that do it because they're not real fans, and like they come in and they huff and puff if we don't have the fucking book, and it's like, well, I don't really give a shit that you're mad right now. Get the fuck out. Like if I owned the shop, like I'd probably tell them, get the fuck out of my store.
Yeah.
And I probably would lose a lot of business, but like I don't really want I don't know, like I wouldn't want business like that, but then I guess like but you kind of do. But like, okay, if you want the book, I'll sell it to you for fucking 5 times the cover. Yeah. I'll sell it to you for the eBay price.
Something we start seeing. Yeah. I see people that complain about their shop, and a lot of people just don't go there anymore because they'll pull all the books. So Venom, whatever the fuck, is super hot, and maybe they'll give it to the people that they're friends with, but they'll pull them from pull lists and go, we're not even giving it to you guys. If anyone wants to buy it, it's $15.
Now that's fucked up. We don't do that at the shop.
No, but
we will pull the book from the shelf, and whatever shelf copies we have, because sometimes it's very minimal because it's like we already weren't ordering that much for the shelf, but it's for subs. And like if it's somebody that's a regular customer that comes in all the time and they ask for the book and they want it, then we'll sell it to them for cover price.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna like some random comes in the shop and we have it behind the shelf and we're like gonna give it to them for cover price because like I've never seen you before in my life. I know why the fuck you're here. Like, let me check what eBay's selling for, and then I'll give you a price.
Big surprise, I'm probably not going to see you next week.
Exactly. So, fuck speculators.
But yeah, so generally people can tell them, like, the advice is don't go there anymore. Yeah. Like, that shop sucks, if that's what they're doing. Like, if you've been reading whatever, Batman or whatever, and it's on your pull list, and they know that, and then they pull it, and then they tell you you can buy it for $15 or $20 or whatever.
I've never heard of that, but that's fucking horrible, and I think those shops shouldn't even be in business.
So it's happening.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's impacting a lot of things. So
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Comic Lounge. You can throw your comments or suggestions down below, or you can email us at thecomicloungepod@gmail.com. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if we haven't turned you away from our hate of speculators, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time we put up a new video. Also have an audio podcast that comes out once a week, every Tuesday, that's available on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean.
With Dylan that we're trying to get on yours.
With Dylan. So anyways, you follow us on all those accounts, and I'll have all the links down below. And on that note, we're out.